Welcome, weary wanderer, to the bowels of the Bronze Brotherhood. I am the Bronze Connoisseur. I will be your guide on this trip through our archives. Today, we will be looking at the tank lineup for bronze. Now, some of this may apply up to gold, but primarily, we're talking about bronze. And a big disclaimer here, just because I put someone higher or more to the left than the right does not change anything, and these tiers are spiritual. They're not really set in stone. There is no such thing as meta in bronze. If you can just survive and do slightly more than your opponent, that is all we can ask. So let's get into it. We're going to start here with our wonderful friend, and I don't know why our Reinhardt over here. Let's bring Reinhardt over. He needs to be with his tank buddies. Yeah, let's start straight up with the horse. She is choo-choo tier. Absolutely. What I mean by that is she will steamroll like a train. She is powerful. She has amazing cooldowns. She probably should get nerfed, but since this is the patch of the tank buffs, she is remaining unchanged at this moment. Powerful tank. If you know how to manage your cooldowns, which isn't too difficult to be fair, you'll be fine. You'll climb and you'll survive. Poster boy for surviving. Reinhardt, absolute choo-choo tier, and I'm not just saying that because he happens to have a train skin. I'm sure the devs knew that he steamrolls. But absolutely, if you know how to play in Rhine, you will climb. If you're in bronze, play Rhine, you will climb. Just know how to protect your team and aim your fire strikes, and you're golden. Next one, poster boy of the recent rework. He is probably choo-choo tier right now as well. The devs haven't touched him, and that's fair. He's only a couple of weeks old, really. But they've done a lot to fix some of his issues, and he isn't just the one-shot combo anymore. But if you used to know how to one-shot combo, you can still one-shot combo now. So, definitely, Roadhog is a good pick right now. Diva. I'm debating between putting her in Choo Choo tier or Yas tier. The reason why is that Diva is quite good. Anybody who can play Diva is going to do well, as long as you know to hold some of your matrix for when you really need it, and knowing to look back to your team since you can travel so quickly back and forth. I'm actually tempted to just put her in Choo Choo tier. She's basically been untouched, and everybody else's changes around her have only made her more viable. And in this Season 8 mobility meta, um, Diva is going to be supreme queen of mobility, which does actually bring us neatly to Junker Queen. Junker Queen would be Choo Choo tier if not for one simple thing. She requires so much effort. You have to work hard to make the queen work, because being a queen is hard work. So she is bordering on Choo Choo tier. She is so strong right now. Her sustain is great. Her damage is nice. Her ult is teamfight winning. Others of the tanks also have teamfight winning ults. I'm looking especially at Reinhardt here and Diva, but Anti is still way too powerful. So yeah, you have to work for it, but if you can play her, she's great. She's amazing at bronze. You're quite self-sufficient and you do so much damage. So much damage. Next, to be fair, Zarya is only in Yas instead of Ait because she's quite powerful and always has been. Her bubbles are great. The barrier and the bubbles make her so survivable. Her damage output is insane, but her right click, her projectile one, is hard to aim sometimes, and it is hard to get value with it when you're not highly charged. And managing your bubbles well is conceptually it is easy enough, but it requires a lot of practice and a lot of making mistakes to get there. So she's definitely a strong tank. Just she's gonna suffer as well in the current mobility meta. She's gonna fall off sadly, but she's still a powerful pick. And if you know how to play her and you know how to play her well, she is a good pick. just know that she requires hard work. Which takes us to Ramatra. He is also kind of bordering on Choo Choo now. He always was really powerful. Then they kind of nerfed his ult, which was probably the right thing to do because it was just too powerful. And yeah, they've made some nice changes to make him a bit more survivable, which he really appreciates because he appreciates having armor outside of his Nemesis form because of its reasonably long cooldown, relatively speaking. Um, so yeah, all around he's a good pick. He struggles a little bit. He's a jack of all trade, master of none. So not quite choo choo tier. Which brings us to Sigma. I also think Sigma is one of those heroes that suffers during mobility meta. He is this kind of tank who wants to tank from a distance. Having so many tanks in your face constantly puts him at a disadvantage. He is by all means a very good and very survivable tank. I'm quite okay at Sigma sometimes, but the moment you start getting dove and you basically start getting people up in your grill, that's when you start being less effective as a tank. So not quite choo choo tier, but definitely a strong pick. Brings us to the big elephant in the room. So, depending on what they do to Mauga, he'll either be Choo Choo tier or Ait. Or Yas tier. So, the reasoning is that right now he's a bit overtuned. If he stays exactly how he is before he goes into comp, he will be Choo Choo tier. He'll still have a shitty matchup with certain characters like Pharas and Echoes, mostly air heroes are quite a problem for him unless your aim is ridiculously good. But we're talking bronze here, so we don't want to assume right away. Um, but if they nerf him, and really the nerf they should probably consider are reducing his fall off back to 20 meters. I think 20 meters was fine. I don't know why they wanted to turn him into a sniper now. Um, and if they reduce his aura down to 40% the way they did with Orisa, I think that is probably something they should be looking at. In which case, he just becomes a good pick because mobility is going to be king this season, and he is one of the most uninterruptible mobility tanks. So he's definitely going to be a strong pick. I don't think we've known enough about him to put him in Choo Choo tier, but a good tracking tank will definitely steamroll with him, which then takes us to Winton. So Winton's always viable. Not much really has changed about Winston except his matchup against Torb and Brigitte and goddamn Bastion um, is now a bit better. I think Winston appreciates this. This doesn't really elevate him much higher. He is a very mobile tank, so if you can play him, he probably might as well be Choo Choo tier. But he's an overall strong pick. He gets a reasonable amount of value, but mobile tanks have a harder time making value because of the indirect way in which they're required to do so. But he's always a good pick. Which then brings us actually to I did specifically keep these together for a reason because I want to talk about them at the same time. So I don't actually think there is a particularly bad tank this season, and that includes Wrecking Ball and Doomfist. However, both Doomfist and Wrecking Ball, in my opinion, fall into this odd category where you can either have the best or the worst of the players in your bracket, and I understand why. These are very intense heroes with very high skill ceilings. But yeah, I don't think they're. Sorry about that. Just need to drink some water. I don't think they are quite choo choo, but they're not really crap either. It really, really depends. You are so uncertain to get. You can get really crap Doomfists and Wrecking Balls, and you can have Doomfists and Wrecking Balls that just wreck the lobby. It's impossible to predict. So I put them in this 0 to 100 category, a category I reserve specifically for heroes that are so skill intensive, have so many techs, or have so much nuance or luck. I mentioned that because there might be some DPS that belong in this category as well. But yeah, Potentially very powerful picks, very niche in what they do, and very difficult to get value on, and most of the time, you're either going to be amazing or crap. So take that for what you want. That's my take anyway. It isn't that there isn't middle ground there, it's just so infrequent in my opinion. But yeah, that's what I think the bronze quote unquote meta. Again, remember, there is no such thing as meta. All you want to do is survive and have the kit that best suits the way you play. That's been me, the Bronze Connoisseur, taking you through the tank archives. Please look forward to the DPS and support one in the future. Thank you. See you. Bye.